The US military says it's launched a new wave of strikes against Iran despite a ceasefire agreement signed last month. Washington and Tehran have been attacking each other every day for nearly a week. Central Command says the strikes are aimed at further degrading Tehran's military capabilities. Iranian state media is reporting explosions in the port city of Bandar Abbas and other areas in the south of the country. Washington says earlier strikes were targeted at countering Tehran's ability to threaten ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's health ministry says recent attacks have killed at least 40 people and injured more than 300. In response, Iran carried out strikes targeting American assets in the region. Attacks have been reported in Kuwait, Bahrain and Jordan. Qatar has released a statement condemning the attacks and says it considers them a, quote, blatant violation of the sovereignty of these countries and a flagrant breach of international law. Mahmoud Abdulwahed is following developments from the Iranian capital, Tehran.
The military confrontation between Iran and the United States continues to intensify. The U.S. Central Command has announced that it has launched the fifth consecutive night of airstrikes targeting locations inside Iran to degrade Iran's military capabilities. We understand that the United States has been carrying out multiple airstrikes over the past week, targeting several locations in several provinces across southern, central and northern Iran. This is part of a plan by the US to degrade Iran's military, naval and defense capabilities in an attempt to eliminate Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Iran's state television has just announced explosions near the strategic port of Bandar Abbas in southern Iran. Bandar Abbas port is home to IRGC naval and military assets which are essential for its control over the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Iranian officials have been reiterating that the military operations by the US in and around the Strait of Hormuz are undermining the security and safety of passage and international navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, and in fact undermining the memorandum of understanding. The question now is whether or not the IRGC will respond, given the fact that it has been threatening to expand its military operations against the United States beyond the region. Mahmoud Abdulwahed, Al Jazeera, Tehran.
Let's get more on what we're hearing from US officials this hour. Manuel Rapallo joins us live from the White House in Washington, D.C. Manuel, I understand you have some more details from US Central Command.
Good to be with you, Imran. I'll point to that messaging from U.S. Central Command that was posted earlier today on the social media platform X regarding the strikes that were carried out at around 2 p.m. Eastern Time, what U.S. military is referring to as the sixth consecutive night to further degrade Iran's military capabilities. The signaling that we're hearing from U.S. officials today, very consistent with what we're hearing across different departments regarding the current strategy, the current situation regarding the larger, broader conflict between the United States and Iran. Basically, the signaling from U.S. officials is that when it comes to the strategy right now, military pressure and diplomacy are not mutually exclusive. The argument consistently, repeatedly from U.S. officials, especially from U.S. diplomats, has been that diplomacy is the preference. But we're also hearing again and again from U.S. officials that it is Iran that violated the recent MOU by targeting commercial vessels transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. The framing from U.S. officials is that this has left the U.S. military with little other option than to increase or focus more on military pressure, on economic pressure when it comes to the ongoing situation. We should note here that this doesn't mean that just because the momentum on diplomacy has stalled, has slowed, that it has lost a pulse. There is still a diplomatic track We've seen it with the recent meeting that President Trump had with Iraq's new prime minister that took place on Tuesday. The talks between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Jordanian foreign minister at the State Department also on Tuesday. The ongoing talks between Israel and Lebanon that took place in Rome this week. All of this part of this larger diplomatic effort by the United States, not only to bring stability to the region, but to find a way to bring the conflict with Iran toward that diplomatic off-ramp.
Now, Manuel, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has been